What a great idea to have a Geulah gathering on Tu B'Av, because there is a very strong connection between Tu B'Av, to Geulah, and specifically to women. What is that connection? The last Mishnah Masechet Tainis we learn that the happiest days were Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av, the 15th of the month of Av. And it seems from that Mishnah that women have more sensitivity to that simcha on that day. Why is that? One of the reasons the Mefarshim explain. The women didn't sin in the sin of the golden calf, and they didn't sin in the sin of the spies. Only the men did. And Tu B'Av was the rectification, was the tikkun for the sin of the spies, and therefore the women felt more of the simcha when Klal Yisrael did tshuva for this sin. Reb Tzadok HaKohen of Lublin, in his Sefer Pri Tzadik in Parshas Dvarim, writes an amazing thing. Tu B'Av is the most propitious time for the building of the Beis HaMikdash, because on Tu B'Av, as we said, there was the rectification of the sin of the spies, and that sin is what led us to this long, bitter galus. He proves it from the Medrash and the Psikta. The Beis HaMikdash will be rebuilt in the month of Av, and therefore he says it's clear it's going to be on Tu B'Av. And this is how he explains. The last Mishnah in Masechet Tainis uses a pasuk from Shir Hashirim, Perek Gimel, pasuk Yud Aleph, and the pasuk says, "Uveyom chasunoso, uveyom simchas libo," the day of his wedding and the day of the joy of his heart. And Chazal references to Yom Kippur and Tu B'Av. Says Reb Tzadok HaKohen. Yom chasunoso, the day of his wedding, that is Yom Kippur. But Yom simchas libo, the day of the joy of his heart, that refers to Tu B'Av, and that is a higher level of simcha, because that's a more internal level of simcha. And that refers to the building of Beis HaMikdash that Im Yirtzeh Hashem soon, speedily in our days, will be rebuilt. So we need to anticipate coming of Mashiach, coming of Geulah. In Masechet Shabbos, Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph, we learn, when one departs this world, when he goes upstairs after 120, there is a series of questions that one is asked. The fourth question is, Tzipisa LeYeshua. Did you anticipate? Did you yearn Geulah? Did you wait for salvation? It's not enough to believe in the coming of Mashiach. We have to anticipate it. In fact, one of the principles of the Rambam, the 13 principles of the faith, Ikrei Emunah. Ani ma'amin be'emunah shelema be'vias HaMashiach. I believe fully in the coming of Mashiach, but it doesn't end there. And it continues, Ve'af al pi she'yisma'ameh, and even if he delays, I will wait for him every single day. In fact, the Rambam in Hilchos Melachim in Perek Yud Aleph Halacha Aleph writes that one who doesn't believe in Mashiach or doesn't wait for him is called a koifer, is called a heretic. Frightening. So we must wait for Mashiach, anticipate his coming. But what can we do to make sure that he comes faster? Everybody knows what they need to get stronger in. But a few examples that come to mind. Snius, Shmiras Halashon, davening, limiting our exposure to certain technologies that can hinder our spiritual growth. Learning Hilchos Shabbos so we don't stumble every weekend. There's more, and everybody knows what they need to do to take upon themselves. But let's just share maybe one example. Loving kindness, Gmilus Chesed, Ahavas Chesed. The Navi Micha in Perek Vav Pasuk Chesed says, Ma Hashem doiresh mimcha. What does the Kodesh Baruch Hu demand of you? Asos Mishpat ve'Ahavas Chesed. Love doing Chesed. What does that mean? What is the difference between do Chesed or love Chesed? I think the difference is when you're commanded to do Chesed, you will. And then, check mark. Been there, done that. But when you are commanded to love Chesed, you look for opportunities to be involved in Chesed. What does that mean to look for opportunities? I want to share with you a remarkable story. It happened a few months ago in Eretz Yisrael. The Vizhnitzer Rebbe went to the wedding of one of his Hasidim. And you know, Rebbes don't stay a long time in the wedding. So he came to the chuppah, and after the chuppah, he came to the father of the bride, and he says to him, please, I want to ask you, when you come back home tonight, give me a call. It doesn't make a difference what time it's going to be. I know it's going to be late. Give me a call. And the father says, sure, Rebbe. The Rebbe goes home, and when he goes to sleep, he tells the Gabai, make sure you wake me up when that fellow calls. The father of the bride comes back home from the wedding at 3:45 a.m. And he feels terrible waking up the Rebbe. What can he do? The Rebbe asked him to call, so he does. And the Gabai says, just a second, I'll wake him up. He wakes up the Rebbe washes his hands. He says the blessings, Birkos HaTorah, and then he comes to the phone, he starts talking. And he asks this fellow, so how was the wedding? Tell me, how was the band? Did you like the music? How was the food? Did the schnitzel come hot? All your friends that you expected to come, did they show up? And he goes on and on and on. 18-minute conversation at 4 o'clock in the morning. And the Gabai looks at him and says, what's going on? And why now? And when he ended the conversation, the Gabai asks him, Rebbe, why 18 minutes? Why now? And the Rebbe says, don't you understand? This man is a widower. 8 months ago, he lost his wife. Now, what does a wife and a husband normally do when they come back home after a wedding? They share the experiences. So how was it on your side? Women's section. How was it on the men's side? How was the food? How was the band? They share everything. They want to relive the whole experience again. And this is the last kid that this guy is marrying. Can you imagine? He comes back home after a wedding. 4 walls. No one is there. Not his wife. He can't share with her. Can you imagine how he would feel? So I decided I will be his wife. And I will share with him my thoughts and feelings. He will share with me. We'll have a nice discussion so he doesn't have to think about how terrible his situation is. So he can concentrate on the beauty and the simcha that he just had. That's thinking about Yenim, about someone else, about what he is missing, looking for opportunities to do chesed. You know, we don't have too much time left in this long galus. Geulah is coming. It's very near. It's imminent. So we have to make sure these last few minutes are really done the way they're supposed to be done. There's a phrase that everybody knows. 24/7. What does 24/7 mean? All the time. 24 hours, 7 days a week. Continuity. Constant. But if you look in Chumash Shemois and you open the 24th chapter, Perek Chav Daled, the 7th verse, Pasuk Zayin, you will see what 24/7 really means. The Pasuk over there says, Kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh v'nishma. Everything Hashem said we will do and we will hear. That is a true Eved Hashem, to be a true servant of Hashem. Na'aseh v'nishma, 24/7. You know, just imagine, soon, real soon, there's going to be Tchias HaMesim, the resurrection of the dead. So you're sitting at home, all alone. Somebody knocks on the door, you open the door. It's your grandmother. Tchias HaMesim, resurrection of the dead. You say, what are you doing here? Oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said now is the time. And you hug, and you kiss. Tears are streaming down, tears of joy, tears of excitement, and you bring her back home. You wait for the kids. She never saw your children. And you tell her everything that's been going on. But then you get a phone call. It's your best friend. Where are you? She asks. What do you mean, where am I? I'm at home. I'm sitting with my grandmother. She said, but there's a shir now. Who's giving a class? Geulah, the prophetess. Geulah is giving a shir. What? Geulah is giving a shir? Where? We're 2 blocks away from where Esther Hamalka, Queen Esther, is giving a shir. And you know, right after Esther Hamalka, Chana, the mother of Shmuel, is going to give a shir as well. Followed by Miriam, the sister of Moshe Rabbeinu. She is going to give a shir as well. Could you imagine how he's going to feel? But this will all pale in comparison to how we are going to feel when they will tell us, Kamu Yeshenei Chevron. Those who are resting in Chevron are back. Avoseinu HaKedoshim, Avraham Avinu, Yitzchak Avinu, Yaakov Avinu, Imoseinu, Haimahos HaKedoshos, our matriarchs, Sarah Imeinu, Rivka Imeinu, Rachel Imeinu, Leah Imeinu, Chevron, Beis Lechem. Who's not going to want to go see them? Sarah Imeinu, the greatest woman of all time, our collective grandmother. Oma, Safta, we're going to want to go and meet them and get a kiss from Grandma, from Oma, from Savta Sarah Sarah Imenu. Just imagine. There will be buses. A bus to Hebron and a bus to Beis Lechem to Sirachel Imenu. Do you think on that bus there will be a code of conduct? What you can wear and what you can't wear? What you can listen to and what you can't listen to? What you can say and what you can't say? I don't think so. Deep down, we all know what we need to do and what we should refrain from doing. On that bus, everybody will be dressed in the most theistic way. They will only be listening to the right things. They'll only be saying the right things at all times. And could you imagine? When you get there to Hebron and you see Sarah Imenu, just imagine Sarah Imenu looking at you and saying, wow, my granddaughter. And you will say to Sarah Imenu, it's been such a long galus. Tears, broken hearts. And Sarah Imenu is going to say, yes, I know. But you know, I was always thinking, how will my granddaughter look in the year 5779 to the creation of the world, Tafshin Ayin Tes. And I always imagined someone like you. I always thought, this is what my granddaughter is going to look like. And Sarah Imenu is going to give you a kiss. We know Sarah Imenu is going to kiss all the Rebbitzins, great women. But Sarah Imenu is not going to kiss only the Rebbitzins. She's going to kiss anyone who's willing to fight. In a war, sometimes you lose and sometimes you win. But you need to fight. Avraham Avinu is going to kiss all the rabbis. But he's also going to kiss anyone who's willing to fight. And that's what it's all about. Fighting. Yes, there's a Yetzer Hara. Yes, sometimes there's pressure from the friends. But we need to fight to make Avraham Avinu and Sarah Imenu proud of us. Soon we will see them again. We will reunite. Who doesn't want to get a kiss from Sarah Imenu? Who wouldn't want to hear Sarah Imenu saying, I am proud of you. I want to congratulate all the participants in this wonderful initiative, the Geulah Gathering. It's such a fantastic endeavor. And Chazal say, don't let a blessing of a simpleton be unimportant in your eyes. I want to bless all of you. But Emetz Hashem, for the merit of what you are doing, anticipating Geulah, and taking necessary steps to bring it faster, taking upon yourselves things to get stronger. Emetz Hashem, indeed, soon, speedily in our days, we will see Beis HaMikdash, Mashiach Tzidkeinu, Tchias HaMeisim, Bekorov B'Yameinu, Amen V'Amen.